Hello, Robots in Disguise fans, and welcome to another episode of the AFTERBUZZ TV Transformers Robots in Disguise After Show. Today we're covering Episode 11, Graduation Exercises, and we have a very special guest with us. We'll see you after the opening.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I don't know about you guys, but I had this song stuck in my head for most of the episode because it was ridiculous.
I have this song stuck in my head
all the time.
All day long.
Yep,
all day long.
Yes, and we have a light show.
Yeah.
Zach, our engineer, loves us. All right. Welcome, guys. We are having a grand old time here today. Of course, I have my wonderful co-host with me. They've switched seats. So
sorry, I can't remember.
I couldn't remember either. I don't know. I just sat
I'm sorry,
here.
guys. Alexis and I both just moved, not into the same place, into our own respective homes.
I'm just so used to going with it. Like, wait,
I know.
switching
I
gears.
just like.
I just want to change it up
I
on
wore
you.
red to like make you maybe remember. I don't know, because like Sideswipe is red and
we have Emma the
Speedster.
Speedster Fyffe.
That's me, Emma Fyffe. You can find me all over the internet at my name, Emma Fyffe.
Alexis the Wrecker Torres.
You can find me wrecking stuff at atorres890.
I love it.
Megan Lord Megan Salinas.
Hey guys, you can tweet at me at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin.
And I'm Katie Kia-Prime Cullen. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. We have the hashtag ABTVRID. We're going to have the live chat pulled up in just a few moments, so as always, participate in the conversation. And we have a wonderful special guest with us today for the fifth time.
Go on.
Mitchell Whitfield, the voice of Fix-It.
Hello! And I also want to thank you, and my family would thank you, because basically the way the headphone and the mic are right now, I can't slouch. So if I want to be heard, I have to sit up like this the entire time. So if I look, you know...
I mean, that AfterBuzz TV is actually secretly a finishing school.
It really is. I'm waiting for the ruler to come and whack my hand. So I'm like, oh.
At this point,
underneath
we
the
need
table.
a yardstick.
Exactly.
I have one underneath the
You
table.
have a yardstick?
That's a totally different after show, I'll tell you that right now.
AfterBuzz After Dark. We're already there.
Why is that only ever on this show? Why does that happen?
It's only ever when Mitchell's here.
I didn't say anything. Fix-It needs discipline.
You're very present. I'll get one of those control collars for you.
Oh! AfterBuzz After Dark.
Oh, here we go.
Cannon.
Anyway.
We finally went back with the B team, you guys, and it was wild. This felt like a Prime episode.
It did.
That was great.
It was
It
fantastic.
was just crazy.
Yeah.
So, what did you guys think?
I mean, I feel like because I wasn't here last week, so like I just loved the last episode so much.
I screamed a lot.
We spent the entire hour just gushing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and
gushing.
just the fact that, you know, it was referencing, like, yes, we acknowledge that Prime exists and this is happening after it. Like, it was really, really nice to see that. And Soundwave, holy moly.
Oh,
And just like the music that they composed and played for all of his parts were just...
music in this episode was really good.
It was
too.
great, yeah.
I'm gonna need the soundtrack for this show and just be like that. and
Here's
that
the deal. Like, there was almost zero plot in this episode, but it was a good thing. You know what I
loved
mean?
it.
Like, like this was an all-out, like, mini-con assault, and it was great.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and I want to know if you guys felt the same thing, because watching this episode, I mean, you know, we'll talk about, I'm sure it'll come up, there is no Bumblebee in this episode.
No.
Which is sort of an anomaly. It's one of the few that you won't see him in.
Yeah.
It really had the feel of a live-action show. The rhythms of it, the pacing of it.
I totally agree.
The look of it, the sound design, it had very much a live-action feel where there was nothing, and I know we used to hate saying the word cartoony feel to it or an animated feel to it, but it had the beats and the rhythms of a live-action show, and it wasn't afraid to sort of embrace that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, back in the room, and he's just sitting there and back in there, they're trying to find a way out. They didn't feel the need to fill every second with over your head. No, it was just very, very real and very live-action. It had a really cool vibe to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was just, again, it felt like Prime.
Well,
we had the occasional pose as a team moment.
Yeah,
We had the thing that struck me, and I will fully admit that Drift is my favorite. We've been over this. I'm a little biased, but just that moment where the camera goes to me sitting there with that huge gun and just his eyes were glowing.
That was such a favorite moment of the whole episode.
No,
that was just incredible.
I got
That was
goosebumps.
just-
The whole thing, like I feel it felt sort of like Walking Dead almost in a way. Where it's
I'm
like,
telling you, it had a very different feel to it. It was very cool.
And it also is one of the first times I feel like that we have seen the heroes just getting like legitimately pummeled. Like, and
it feels like Braun.
Yeah.
It did feel like
We're
Braun.
back to that. People died in that show.
Yeah.
Well, I again, it felt very live action when he was in the room and he's just pointing a gun at the door.
Yeah.
That felt like an action movie thing to do.
Just the intense sort of moment of waiting for that door to be breached, waiting for them to breach through that force field.
Yeah.
And then his poor little, slipstream and jetstorm. And
I know. They were so
feeling
bad.
so terrible about their master. Me too.
I know.
So it made me feel bad at the same time.
And it was a very teenager thing to do. Like, sorry, we can't hear you. Like,
You're breaking up.
Everyone has
I'm
done
going
that
through
to
a
their
tunnel.
parents.
Oh, yeah.
And the guilt and the shame that followed,
What
right?
are you? Oh, the fan was on. Oh, for 2 years of my life is, I thought it was the ghost. Oh, yeah, never be able to use that excuse again.
No, just that one time.
For the people who are like, what the heck? I lived in a haunted house while I was in high school.
There it is.
Oh dear.
Yeah, no, that's a thing. That's a story for off the air because
all right,
I've
you'll
told
tell me
it in
later.
previous episodes. But it's a teenager thing to do. It's, we couldn't hear you. Sorry. It's like, yeah, we made a bad decision.
But I feel like in this episode too, like some of it kind of was about respect for mini-cons and like mini-cons breaking out and doing their own thing and being self-sufficient or extremely effective at destruction.
And we've been making the ongoing joke this season that everybody gets a mini-con this episode.
Yeah.
This is the only guy that gets an army of mini-cons.
yeah,
Like
right.
an entire
Army.
platoon of mini-cons.
Real quick, can we get the live chat up, please?
I'm looking at it here on my phone if it helps, but I know you would
yeah,
like it up there
yeah,
too.
on the thing.
But no, I thought it was crazy because I was sitting there. I was with Sideswipe at one point. I was like, "Oh man, these guys can take care. Oh, they keep. Oh, there's more. Oh, what's happening?
How many mini-cons are there?
Volume.
Yeah.
That's what it was all
Quantity over
about.
quality.
And I thought at the beginning, I try and watch this like you guys do, not knowing that I was in a recording session. I kind of know the story, reading the script.
Sure.
I try, and I'm able to
You try to
separate
push
myself.
that away, yeah.
Exactly, and I'm sort of watching it, and as soon as they started, the first wave started coming in, I was like, my, that's a lot of gun, but they'll be fine. And then there's another wave, and they start rolling in, and these drones start rolling in. I was like, oh, they're not doing well. And they really, especially with Optimus sort of regaining his strength and everyone in the room, I thought they'd be able to overcome. And once again, as a viewer, they're going to overcome. There's no big deal. Then they just kept on. And then when they got separated, which I also thought was very interesting.
Oh.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
idea, because they didn't even have the idea of strength in numbers. They all had to be separated and work as different individual teams, which was kind of a cool thing that we haven't seen either. So it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, it felt very live action movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just the cannon that they kept rolling out. It's like, this is not going to go.
Well,
I used to be an adventurer like you, and then I took a cannon to the knees.
Yeah.
Oh, can it? Yeah. Both
And
knees.
again, just
Both knees. Both of them.
just kind of circling back to what the plot of the episode was. I mean, basically, they're Windblade has these like caches of supplies stashed all over the whole Earth. Maybe
I'm
didn't
assuming
clarify
that
on
she's
that.
been here for a good
she's
long while.
been here for a while, and she's basically created all of these like emergency supply stores, and so she's brought them to one of her biggest ones. And so again, like I liken it to sort of a Walking Dead situation of like, oh man, we've found this location that's going to give us all of these resources and like totally improve our chances of getting back to our friends and doing what we need to do. And then you get just assaulted by something you totally don't expect.
Well, and what I found interesting is that our Decepticon General Stockade set this up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They pinged the force field to send them coming to take it down, and then assaulted them like, this is a smart guy.
Yeah. He needed them to be able to take it over. He needed them to come in for him to be the access that he wanted.
Yeah.
So
He
clever.
was dumb enough to stage a coup against Megatron.
And he was chewing on, was that a rusty nail he was chewing on the whole
It
time?
looked like a rusty nail.
Like a
looked
giant
it was
rusty
supposed to be a
bolt or
cigarette,
nail.
but then it looked like a lollipop, and then I was like,
thought it was
I'm
a rusty
really
nail.
confused. You know what he looked? I know he was meant to be an armadillo, but with his facial features and with kind of having his mouth on that thing that looked like a cigar,
Right.
I was like, he looks like a Don Bluth villain.
Yes.
He looks
Thank
like
you.
something.
With the pointy kind of face.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was actually kind of thinking of Radigan.
That was next.
Fair enough.
That was next for
Fair
me.
enough, but it looked more Don Bluthy to me.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a word. But another thing.
It will be now.
I was like, yeah, I will use that to reference everything.
How you feeling?
Don Bluthy.
Don Bluthy.
Don Bluthy. I was feeling Don Bluthy today.
To go back to what you were saying about the having all these caches, I had a thought, and maybe this is better for predictions, but do you guys think that the Decepticon hunters that they had in the ship that our new set of Decepticons are kind of hoping Steeljaw can have them access, do you think that's something that Windblade had stored away? Like, is that one of her caches?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
it was
Probably
actually
not,
in
but
the
it was
ship.
just kind of a thought.
But that's a good prediction because I would have never thought of it that way.
And
Well, the other
it's
thing
clearly set aside, with security measures in stores. So
True.
I don't know.
But the thing is, she knows when her caches are getting hit. Like, that's the reason that she was that the plot worked in this episode,
Right,
such
right.
as it was. So she would have known a good long while ago that someone was trying to hit the one on the ship multiple times, because Glowstrike had said that we've tried this, we haven't been able to get through it, maybe you can.
Yeah.
So that makes me think that if that were the case, it would have come up before. If you
probably.
want to win Blade,
It was
she'd
just
know.
a thought. It was
No,
just
I
a
think it's a
thought.
great thought because when
what
you brought
was that?
Sorry, someone in the chat. Hold on, let's see if I can bring it back up here. Where did it go? It was DBZ King 02 said hashtag Minicon Lives Matter. It just made me laugh. It's true, but no, I completely agree because we don't really know who put up that whole security system to get those things out. So I can see them trying to use just how our general used our Autobots to get them through. So I can totally get on that boat for
It
that.
is intriguing, though, the idea of these multiple Autobot safe houses
Yeah.
that are
Yeah.
built throughout the planet, and God knows how many other planets have the same sort of
Right.
treatment. But it is an interesting concept.
But I like how smart she was to sit there and be like, I can't keep all these in one place. Let me spread them out. So if I am traveling, I have somewhere else to go.
And,
Here's my Antarctic one for some godforsaken
Hey,
reason.
they're always in the desert or in the Arctic. There has to be a
Canyons
thing.
the show.
There's no middle ground. There's no middle ground.
None of it.
No, she doesn't have any in like Southern California where it's nice temperate climate.
No.
I was going to say, there's no temperate climate anywhere in her universe. It does not exist.
We're
So,
either in one circle of hell or another. We just
Yeah, no.
don't know.
It has to be those two extremes every time.
I loved the minicons. I did. I thought they were hysterical. They reminded me of Blues Brothers. When the cops were all they said was hup, 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 hup. I'm like, that's it. That's it. They're going to come crashing through a window. And oh, God, they actually did. Oh, this was a joke.
I liked their
There's a lot of
language.
this episode like that. We're joking about stuff. We're watching it. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that was,
Unlike, I think the thing about it is that unlike the last time we were with the B team, where it felt like a lot of manufactured drama, like with a groundhog, and that made no sense.
the world's worst groundhog.
It was manufactured drama. Here, the stakes felt legitimate. Everything felt really natural as everything flowed and progressed.
I mean,
And they had Optimus back to full strength again. Like that, it's really nice not to have him limping around anymore. Not
I
gonna
agree.
lie.
well, you're not used to seeing him like that.
Yeah.
No.
And, but the one thing that it does add is when he's a part of the equation and he's at full force, it does add that feeling of, oh, don't worry, he'll take care of it.
That is true.
Well, he's not that way, and I still felt that he was slightly. I mean, he felt that he had gotten most of his power back, but he
Sure.
still felt vulnerable.
Yeah.
And because of that, we didn't have that feeling of, oh, don't worry. This was I genuinely. But we used to joke about it. Last season, we'd say, well, we get our butts kicked a lot, or we get our butts kicked a lot. I think we said. But this one, there was a real sense of danger,
Yeah.
even with Optimus gaining his strength back. Which is interesting because you thought they'd be an
Right.
overpowered team with him back, but not necessarily. So
he's
this
still
sort of set that
he's
up.
still putting on a little bit of a front.
Exactly.
Like, he's much better than he was,
Yeah.
but still not 100%.
But I think too, it was interesting to see Optimus have to, take on. I mean, and he did. He naturally took on this sort of leadership role that we come to expect of
From
Optimus
Optimus
Prime.
Yeah, of course.
But to see him have to try to adapt and strategize as everybody was getting separated and the minicons just kept coming, like it did, like you felt like, yes, Optimus is in charge. He's gonna sort this out. However,
It's not his team.
Yeah.
It's not his team.
Yeah. And it's
So their
not a good
challenge is just
situation.
wrangling this group of bots that he doesn't know how to utilize them at their
Correct.
best.
Exactly.
He does, and that's where the interesting sort of there's the rub, as they say.
there it is.
Well, and Sideswipe having his own little strategy, which worked out extremely well.
I know.
And just, I love that. It was like the college student talking with the little
I know.
teenagers.
Oh,
Like,
that was adorable.
we're going to get real.
Yeah.
Like, you can't be with dad forever. and you can deploy with pretty much any Autobot who will have you. And they both went,
The eyes.
What an interesting idea.
I like that was what convinced them to go back to Drift, though.
Yeah.
Was that basically they're like, oh, we found out we can deploy from any Autobot, so obviously there's still a lot we have to learn from you.
Right.
1,035 techniques. So that's the point where I just went, oh my god.
Did you guys think that maybe because normally we're used to seeing the banter between Strong Arm and Sideswipe.
Yeah.
Not having Strong Arm in the episode, we didn't see that side of Sideswipe this time.
This is true.
There was no banter. He wasn't bouncing off of her and that sort of brother-sister / semi-romantic conflict that they usually have. But without that, we got to see him, like you said, not take on a leadership role, but be more of a leadership presence and more of a mentor to the two minicons.
Yeah, no, I did. I really,
and more on
really...
his own as opposed to when he's with Sideswipe.
Yeah, I totally agree. I really, really enjoyed that. I mean, because again, it's like seeing him interact with the two minicons. It's as you say, Mitchell, he was taking on more of a mentor role, which is something that he doesn't have the opportunity to do.
There's no dynamic like that in the team the way it is.
Exactly,
right?
and I think that based on previous behavior from Sideswipe, they could have easily written it in the direction of like, just hijinks with Sideswipe and the minicons, and that's not what they went for,
absolutely.
and I really enjoyed that.
Me too.
Well, Sideswipe definitely has that in him.
He
does. He's not a complete screw up. He's not a
Well,
complete...
I did believe that for a little bit, but I agree with everybody what they're saying, because the fact that it really showed me that I'm like, we don't get to see a more mature side of Sideswipe.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's taken in this minicons and he's like, hey, I want you guys to do it on your own. Okay, you guys can go back to it's fine.
I don't understand this. We just had this whole big thing
We
about
just
you
had a
wanting your
bromance.
independence, and I don't get it.
But I think the transition was now they're going to be with Drift by choice,
Yeah.
not by necessity or not by this this unspoken bond.
I
so
took you
it's
and
sort of,
you owe me.
Exactly, it's a different dynamic, but that is one complex relationship.
It is.
That Drift with his two minicons. That is really, even at the end, where we thought, I think as a viewer, you kind of thought, okay, there's going to be a softness where he'll look at next. No. You have done bad things, and now we must. We're going to talk to you about this bad. It was very funny, It was. It's like, oh, there he is, back to berating them. They were happy to have it too. They're like, okay, this is what we were
They
used to.
knew they'd screwed
Of
up.
course.
That's true. It's like, no, we deserve that 100%.
Right.
I feel like that almost helped. As a sort of like, yep, we screwed up. Yep, he's mad at us for it. Okay, all is right with the world. Kind of. There's still that kneecap issue to take care of, but for the most part, we're good.
Karmic balance has been restored.
Exactly.
It's just
I
that
like
thing
that.
of just like having mom or dad being mad at you, and then they do something completely different. You're like, this is not right. But if they act the same way, you're like, okay, we're back to normal. We're good. Everything's fine now.
That's very true. It's like when you're expecting to get yelled at, and they just they're just disappointed.
You're like,
but they all say anyway.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Exactly.
I'm also angry.
Just kidding. I'm really ticked.
I'm very mad.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Just that angry Eric Bauza growl that he does so.
Oh, Eric.
But to kind of go back to Sideswipe a little bit, I really liked that we had that kind of progression for him, because both him and Strongarm, when they were separated, they were all each other could talk about. And for her, it was Sideswipe this, Sideswipe this. Why can't you be more like Sideswipe? Sideswipe would have known that. And it was the same thing. He could only tell stories about Strongarm to the point where Drift was going insane.
Yes.
Which is also fun in
Please
itself.
just
Come
leave
on.
us in this metal for a while. It's fine. It's cool. So quiet.
It is really interesting seeing both of them in their own rights get to bond with other people.
Yes.
I'm wondering how that's going to affect their team dynamic now that they're all back together again.
Yeah.
I can't say.
We're bringing the band back
I
together for
won't
the
say,
two-part season finale.
I still can't believe how quick this crawled up on us. It's
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, this season is half as long as the last one.
That's
so...
also very true.
yes.
Truncated.
Yes.
We'll
Exactly.
say truncated. Yeah.
Yes.
But I think the one thing I took away from this episode, which I really loved, was the choreography of all of the art, like the action scenes. I felt like they were all very well paced.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't feel like it was rushed or too much movement or whatever, especially when you're watching animated anything. But I really loved any time when like Sideswipe was flipping around, and then my favorite part was obviously the slow motion where Drift pulls the gun right up there, and then you just see it, and I'm like, oh, it's so intense, and it was just so good.
And I love Drift buying them time, and then
Yeah.
Sideswipe, like, I'll tell you everything I know. Lol, JK.
Yeah.
Just, it was all, they all worked really well together.
Even though they were separate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think we take the animation in shows like this for granted for
Yeah.
how good it is and how well it comes together and how well it's lit and rigged.
Yeah.
Because like recently is like I watched something that was more clunky and I was like, oh man. So it really is nice to sit down and watch this and just see everything come together.
Yeah,
really well.
Especially
Very
since it
true.
was like it's usually very bright when you're at the junkyard and everything like
Yeah.
that,
Right.
and then like here it was dark and kind of gritty, and I was
Yeah.
like, what's happening? What am I watching? Am
Yeah,
I
it
back on
Felt
Prime?
like Prime. I just keep
Exactly.
coming back to that. It felt like Prime.
Yeah, no, it was perfect.
I think. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No, go
interrupt. I think, and I know I talk about this as well. I always give kudos to the writing staff and to Adam, and
Yeah.
because sometimes, and this happens in movies, television, it transcends the whole industry. When you read scripts or when you watch something on film, on television, you'll notice when there are scripts, when there are writers, when they, for some reason, they feel that they have to have witty banter, dialogue. Every moment has to be filled. And in this episode especially, they weren't afraid to just have those moments, like you said, of when there was no speech, when there was nothing, when you're just looking at eyes, when you're looking at shots of the characters.
Yeah.
And again, that gives more the feeling of a live action, that it's more of that vibe where it lets the drama build.
Yeah.
It lets you it sucks you in when they're not afraid to have those pauses and those moments that aren't filled with visual and oral. I mean,
Yeah.
so it was really cool. This episode especially was like that.
I agree.
Especially for a kids show.
Yeah.
Yes,
a lot
that's
of
the
kids
whole
shows
thing.
feel the need to have every single second filled with something.
Something.
Right,
And
not
the difference
this.
between for kids and no, kids are intelligent human beings
Right.
and
Yeah.
they will understand the emotional gravitas of
Yep.
this.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, and speaking specifically about kids shows as well, like very often in kids shows, not only is it that we need to fill every single second with something, a lot of the time it's like, let's fill every single second with plot.
Right.
And so then you're just like, whoa, this was a lot of plot for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, I completely agree.
It's like, and what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Actually, I've only ever hit that with Escaflowne.
Which is not for children.
That is not intended for
It's like, what
children.
episode are we on? 8? Are we sure it's not like episode 20?
Oh my god, you brought
Really?
back so weird memories for me. I was
I
like,
also watched all of Escaflowne in a night and then the movie the next morning. And that
You
was a
crazy.
why would you do that?
It was someone else's decision. And I was along for the ride.
Oh.
Anyway.
My brain just like became mush and just came out of my ears just listening to that. I wouldn't be able to do that.
Don't make my mistakes,
Don't do
you
it.
guys.
Don't do
that
it,
was
guys.
what high school Katie did. Don't do
do
the
it.
thing.
Don't you be like me. Don't you be like me.
Do better. Which is what I was
Better.
kind of yelling at the mini-cons in this episode. I was like, do better, guys. You guys messed up. Do better.
I loved all of it. I loved that we had our little, not subplot, but side plot.
Yeah.
For Blind Spot, I call it the procedural plot and the personal plot.
Yeah.
And our
Right.
procedural was a huge battle, and our personal plot was just this. We think we're ready to make our own decisions. Like we're adults now.
Yeah.
Oh God,
so
we're really
cute.
not adults.
Please take us back. Please take us back.
Well,
Please.
it's like high schoolers are like, I am so ready to live on my own, and then they get to college, they're like, can we come home this weekend? I have laundry.
Yeah, so
Be
much
careful what
laundry.
you wish for. It's the old classic. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Again, something everybody can identify with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the immediate searing guilt of we didn't do what he said, and now he's grievously injured. Oh God, that's our fault.
And that's what I was also talking about the animation. You can see just the guilt and like the pain of just like, oh my gosh, we almost killed our master and he can't walk. That's crazy.
I did love Grimlock just carrying him off. Like, I'm fine. I'm okay. Okay, fine. This is humiliating.
I
Whatever.
loved it so much because I would have done the same thing. Would have been like, oh, you're injured?
And Grim
no
could
one
care
else-
less. He's not even listening.
Nope.
Come on, let's go. And put someone else. Oh.
I just love how he was ready to go and there was nothing to punch, so he's like, well, I guess I'll just carry you out.
No one else could have pulled that off and had it been as genuine.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
everyone else would have been like, haha, this is funny. And Grim's just like, whatevs, we going.
we go.
We also, how cool is it to watch, the minicons be deployed by Sideswipe?
Yeah.
I just like watching him deploy his own little minicon.
And apparently Sideswipe liked it too.
I think he really did.
Like,
I know.
So I thought we had a thing.
Yeah.
So are they gonna sell separate toys where Jets where
can
the
attach
Minions
them
to
Are-
anything?
They
Or
already
with
do sell separate Jetstorm and Slipstream, but I don't know that they attach.
I don't know if they attached the anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
that
don't
would
know.
be
Probably not.
hysterical. Little magnets. that
I'm
you can just
telling
stick
you,
to
I
people.
don't know why there aren't like plushy dolls. If you're listening,
I
you
want
can't
them so
you can't
bad.
see, but about like yay Size.
With Velcro for the slipstream.
Yeah.
Oh my
Flip
god!
it over to YouTube if you're listening on iTunes.
Indicate the parameters.
What's the size of like this microphone stand?
Technically, she's voguing the parameters. I mean, if we're really being honest, that's yeah.
You hear that, Hasbro? Plushies. More plushies.
12 to 16 inches. I mean, Pokemon can do it. You
You
guys
guys can do it.
That would
I
be
will
so
take
cool.
a plushie Grimlock any day.
I
know.
This is the everyone gets a mini-con kind of season, so this is Transformers Pokemon now, basically. So
Yeah, especially I choose you.
I just love when they were actually forming into balls and then just
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're going down the
and
stairs.
then beating the daylights out of Stockade just
Yes.
as the little, like, God bless.
Yes, I thought it was great.
Pillbugs of Doom. I love it.
Yeah.
oh, Stockade.
Yeah,
That was a-
His lines were crazy.
He was a very Patton sort of character.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
I love the nicknames too.
Corporal Punishment, which was my
Oh,
favorite.
beautiful.
Colonel Crackpot and Major Disaster.
Every single time he said something, I don't know if anyone's a How I Met Your Mother fan, but I was just doing a lot of this. A lot of this.
Those are some of the few puns I will let slide because I love How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat. So I was like, yes, yes.
glorious. And we did get Fix-It in this episode. We're like, Mitchell's coming in. Please let there be. Oh, thank God.
You know, it was very much a Fix-It light episode, which I kind of enjoyed because I get very distracted by me, like, oh, it's me, it's me. But with this, it's like, okay, I had my Expo Bot moment where I got to talk about, you know, the baddie, and then it was back to the action, back to what's going on. So I liked it. I like the comic relief that Fix-It brings.
Yeah.
But for this particular episode,
Yeah.
I kind of dug watching everybody else. It was enjoyable for me.
Yeah.
Selfishly for me, as Fix-It, I enjoyed it.
It was a big surprise for me to see Fix It in this episode, especially since I use that word all the time.
And hearing that they were off on another mission, I was like, are we gonna do like a cut back and forth thing? But they stuck
did
on
not,
the B
which
team.
again, that was very different.
Yeah.
So there were some misleads in terms of what you thought might happen, and then you're like,
Yeah.
happily, no,
So
they really stuck to their guns.
Do we think that they're going to continue this kind of pacing and writing for our finale?
Man, I hope so.
Yes.
Because we've had two really, really, really good, like most of the episodes are good. Some of
Yeah.
them are fun and interesting. Most of them are good. These two were uncommonly good.
Yeah, they were really
These were-
fantastic.
Dare we say great?
Fantastic.
There, you've got your usual robots in disguise, and it's fun, and it's good, and it's awesome,
Yeah.
and we enjoy the heck out of it. And then these two were just like, dang!
More, please.
Shut up and take my money.
Yeah, no. All my viewership, everything, just take it.
And I want,
Just like, grab your hands.
I wanted to point out, if you guys, I don't know how you watch the show or how you listen to the show, they put so much love and energy and attention to the sound design. I know you've commented on it before.
Oh, yeah, completely.
I have really, it's one of the things when I got my house years ago, I was like, I want a nice sound system. So I pre-wired everything, and I stood there like in the old Maxell commercial listening. But even if you have a good pair of headphones or a good pair of cans you can listen to, for anybody out there, anybody watching it that's into that stuff, the sound design is so good. I'm not just talking about the dialogue.
Yeah.
Sound effects, the music, the way that it's mixed.
Yeah.
It really, and it's something that it adds so much to the overall feel of the show that you don't think about until it's taken out and you watch the show without it, because we've had the luxury of watching that.
Of
And they put
course,
the-
yeah.
Then they put the sound and music, and it makes such a huge difference. So if people have a good set of cans they can listen to, it's worth going back and listening because it makes a big difference to how you experience the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we chatted with the composer.
Yeah.
So cool.
Gosh, how many months ago
That
that?
was quite some time ago.
Quite
That was
some
last
time ago.
It was
season.
like
Yeah.
June.
But
Probably.
yeah, just getting to listen to like the process of how the music gets written. I think my favorite kind of musical cue for the episode, there were two really good ones. There was the rock theme when Cybertron
Beautiful.
and then there's just it was the perfect combination of music and sound effects and lighting was just when Optimus Prime was just standing all backlit. That was really great.
And that was that moment of, oh, that's where they got the footage for the opening. Yeah. I was wondering where, oh my God, we just had a pose like a team moment.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Okay.
It was pretty great. It
I
was pretty
wanted
great.
more of that.
Pretty amazing. And the other big thing to take away from this is the ground bridge is fixed.
Yeah.
Yes.
We were
Thank
testing
goodness.
it last week, and you brought this up. I don't think you brought it up on air. I think we were talking about it afterwards. What's to stop Soundwave from coming back?
I think you did say that on air.
Yeah,
and I'm
because
just
he
like,
can create his own ground unless it's
Yeah.
different when you're creating a ground bridge from the Shadow Zone. But yeah, I mean, I guess the idea was that he didn't create the second ground bridge when they were working on it last time.
Right,
That
it
was a
was a
malfunction
function, yeah.
where it was created.
Dang,
Maybe a
ground
ground bridge
bridges.
created in the Shadow Zone doesn't work the same way. I'm assuming otherwise
He would have been out
Otherwise
there
he would just
a
hang
decade
around.
I was
ago.
gonna say,
Kind of
otherwise he
brings
could just
Thor and Fringe and
well,
Flash all into one.
Yeah.
Where
Well,
all the
'cause
travel is all brought
It
together.
has
Oh
to
my
be two
God.
ground bridges, but maybe opening up a ground bridge from the Shadow Zone when there's already another ground bridge open up doesn't work the
There
same.
has to be
Yeah.
some weird technicality that he has to just like time
Wibbly
it
wobbly,
right.
timey wimey.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I believe the plural is ground bry.
Ground
ground-
bry.
Didn't
Not
want to hear you
ground
say
bridges,
bridges.
ground
There you
bridges.
go. Yeah. Sorry.
I want to make sure we use
I wanted to make sure you.
For those of you
terminology.
listening on iTunes,
How
that
many
was
ground
an audible face palm from Alexis. Like, that was...
How many ground bry can fix a fix? And she dropped the headphones and she's gone.
Good night, everyone.
Mission accomplished.
Okay, so we did. Any final thoughts on this? Because I think we pretty much, when it's an action-heavy episode, it's kind of hard to talk about it at length because, oh my god, action fighting, more action.
Yeah,
big
I mean,
action.
talk about the raid.
Stuff happened. Things occurred.
There were a lot of
It was
there were lots of shots fired, and I kept waiting for the miniguns
Okay.
to run out of ammo, but I don't
thank
think
you.
ammo is a thing.
They
Giant-
generate their own, I'm guessing.
Giant club. Where were all the lasers coming from? I was like, where? Where are? They're all on the ground, but then they're up in the air. I don't understand.
I will say, this is one of my favorite things that characters do is when they run out of bullets, they throw the gun. Drift running out of shots and just killing minicons by throwing wrenches at them. Like, yes!
And
Drift
the
was sitting
Energon
there.
crew. You
Yeah.
know?
He had some
and then
cubes at the end. He was down to some Energon
Yeah.
cubes, right?
And even hit. He hit sideswipe, didn't he?
I thought
Yes,
you were
accidentally. He thought he was
unintelligent foes.
I
You're throwing shade, dude.
died. I was like, did he just plant some palm trees? Because that was some shade that he just had.
He's throwing wrenches, he's throwing energon, he's throwing
shade. There was shots fires. There's just a lot of things.
we just
beautiful. This whole episode.
it was really great.
I want more of this.
We had been joking about it when we watched the episode, but Optimus Prime's delivery a little bit in this. It was a little cowboyish.
It was a little
Well, like,
cowboyish.
you know, ma'am, this isn't my first rodeo.
I've lived
happening?
before, and I have a little bit of experience.
I declare, Drift.
It's like, Peter Cullen, what's
declare.
happening?
No,
Did
no,
you-
no. But
talking to
Peter
Whitblade.
Cullen has said that one of his primary inspirations for the voice of Optimus Prime is John Wayne.
Yeah.
That makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah,
I was saying his first rodeo. I was very tempted to bring in my cowboy hat because I honest to goodness, I have a cowboy hat that came from Cheyenne, Wyoming during
You know what's
Frontier
sad?
days.
That's the one thing I actually unpacked first by accident. Was there was a cowboy hat. I was just like, why is this here? Why did I have this? Whose box is this?
I unpacked my cowboy boots.
There you go. We could have made this work.
Honestly, and it has red and blue jewels set in the headband.
What?
I
would be
legitimately
great.
should have brought this.
Wow,
That's
I need to
awesome.
see this.
It exists. It's actually in pictures of my Applejack cosplay because that's what I use.
nice.
Yeah, other Hasbro properties. Anyway, throwing things on accidental cowboy were just some of my favorite bits of this.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yep. Yeah.
Anything else? Anything else?
No, I'm just amazed that after all this time and after being a Transformers fan for years, way before I started voicing anything.
Yeah.
I still Hasbro. They are evil geniuses because every episode I watch, I'm like, okay, I want that toy. I want that. If they can actually do that.
Oh
when
yeah,
it,
the merchandising is amazing.
But I'm still, and I'm
Fantastic.
falling. It's brilliant because I watch the show and I still want everything that
Yeah.
I see on the show.
Yep.
That's all I can say.
Yep.
Sad for me, brilliant for Hasbro. It's fantastic.
I'm Emma. I want plushies.
Yeah.
Plushies are great.
I wanted
I do
so
like
bad.
the idea of the Velcro minicons, like little tiny ones, almost like Angry Bird size ones would fit on there with Velcro. That would be awesome.
Oh no! I just
Oh,
want.
I'd be
I want a drift plush and then just take those off and they could be pillows and I can sleep on them. And it would
Bring
be
them
the
on an
best.
airplane, just like
No,
strap them
that's
to each
exactly
shoulder.
what it would be. It would be on each shoulder, and then I just take them off, and then
Yeah. I feel like that's like what Eric should have when he travels. You know what I mean? Like,
They'll make a little neck pillow.
yeah,
You see the flight attendants. If you're tired, we have a slipstream and a jet stream.
I would be on that plane every time.
Virgin is the only one that would do it. Virgin's the
That
only
is
one
true.
cool enough to do it.
No, I completely
Yeah.
I was
agree.
gonna say if only like if I mean obviously there's a lot of sort of Asian Japanese specifically influence within Transformers.
Right.
It would be great if A&A would do because you know how Polygon does those like themed flights if they would do a Transformers
I
one.
would love that.
I feel like they're more
Pokemon
likely
one,
to do a
didn't
Robotech
they
one
did.
before Transformers, but you know.
Paint the plane all yellow or do red and blue.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I would love it so
Paint
much.
it like Windblade, paint it like Starscream, scare the hell out of everyone.
I would love it for it to
I
be
would
Starscream.
fly
Tell me I'm wrong.
Air Starscream any day.
I don't care if it's just going to like San Francisco. I'd do it.
I don't trust it to get me there.
This is your pilot.
Not at all. It's not a reliable airline, but it'd be great.
Expect some turbulence over the Midwest. That's so cool.
I want
That
to
would be
say
actually awesome.
I want to say a shout out to Spencer Harris, aka at Omega Ruby Knight. He sent us the picture of Drift's eyes shining.
That is awesome.
Screen cap.
Anytime as soon as I came up on my screen, I literally had goosebumps all over. I was like,
Yeah.
I need more of this, and I could see why Katie loves this guy so much.
That needs to be my phone wallpaper.
No,
I
I'm
brought the
saving this
toy.
picture already.
I brought the toy.
It's already mine.
Yeah, new wallpaper.
Yeah,
New
for
wallpaper.
sure.
Really.
See,
Dang.
those moments are when people ask me about the show that haven't watched it, and they say, "Well, is it a kid show?" I'm like, it's a kid show or
Yeah,
kids, but
but-
there's so much in there, and especially an episode like this, where the rhythms, the beats, the
Yeah.
relationships, where there was just something different about it
I
that spreads the
agree.
appeal to a much. It's a wide appeal for the audience. You know?
It's incredible.
Yep.
Yeah,
I want Windblade's sword.
so cool.
So cool.
I want the toy. Just
She's
the
so
jet
cool.
transformation's
Everything. I just-
fantastic.
Just I don't have enough money to buy all these toys.
And she's totally into Fix-It, by the way. The character is totally
Oh yeah,
into
they're in
Fix-It.
love, right?
Yeah,
Spark
totally.
breaker.
down.
Please, come
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
No, I saw that coming.
Totally into Fix-It.
Mentioned it the very first B team, but I think Drift has a little bit of a thing for her.
Oh,
in all
I
honesty.
know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mutual respect. Yeah. We'll call it mutual respect.
Is
yeah.
that what the kids are calling it now?
I don't know. I think
Well,
Fix It
it's
has a little
really-
competition. That's all I'm saying.
Oh.
It's kind of hard to get a date when you're a single dad.
Wow.
Oh, that's true. That's
Is that where we're going now with a
Shows
single
you-
dad? I like that very much.
No, I mean it makes sense. You know, I gotta make sure someone can watch the mini cons. I mean, I guess that's gonna be Sideswipe now.
Yeah, it is.
Just have just nice.
This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
And premature deployment becomes an issue. It's like a whole thing. Yeah, I just went there, but she didn't drop her headphones this time. We might have lost her, but yes. And again, I didn't say a single filthy thing.
How many,
We need to repair our record.
how many of our Transformers Robots in Disguise episodes are listed as explicit?
3. 4 now. All the ones that he's on.
Premature deployment happens to a lot of bots as they get older. It's not a big deal. On that note,
But don't tish.
Yeah, thank you.
It's like 70s, like, I know what it is. It's 70s
Slack
music.
face.
Yeah, slapping the
Bow
bass.
wow.
Yep, brown chicken, brown cow, guys.
If the chat has anything they want us to bring up that hasn't come up yet, because I know we're on a delay, now is the time to do it. In the meantime, we're going to talk about iTunes, like we usually do. It's tradition.
Woohoo!
We have 2 new reviews.
Yay!
You all love us, and we love you very much. And like we say every single time, if you are listening, if you want to help us out, best thing you can do, go to iTunes, rate, subscribe, leave us a review, tell us that you love us, because that way our network goes, people really like this podcast about girls talking about giant robots. We should keep it. And here we are for season 2, and hoping for I think someone on Twitter termed it the magical season 3. Because Mythical's already taken. That was season 2, and now it exists. So now we need to turn for season 3, which is kind of
Legendary.
Schrodinger's.
I think it's legendary.
Yeah,
Legendary. No, that's too many expectations.
But I think that's what someone on Twitter called it.
The legendary season 3. Okay, we're.
Wait for it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I know we had. Does anyone remember what our bet was?
Oh, I have it written in my computer. I have to go. I don't have it with
perfect,
me. I have to
perfect.
look
We have
at
2
it.
episodes to figure out whether or not one of us won a bet, and if so, what we need to bring.
I have to look through
There's
a
a
lot
bet
of
going.
things.
it wasn't if I give away a spoiler, was it? That wasn't the
No,
Something
it was
else.
something
Okay.
plot
That's
related.
That's a different one. I'll
We
get
I was gonna
had
say,
a
thank
bet
you.
about something plot related, and none of us can remember
Yeah,
what
I
it
feel
was.
Yeah, I have to
I'm
look
pretty
it up.
sure the
See,
people
now
at
I know.
Hasbro Studios have a bet as to whether or not you give away spoilers.
That's why I try and sit there at the end, sort of like this.
Yeah, we have 2 new reviews. You guys are wonderful human beings. We have awesome show with awesome hosts from Optimus Fangirl 129. Absolutely love this show. The girls are great and knowledgeable about Transformers. I'm the only one in my friend group who loves Transformers, so finding this podcast full of other girls was amazing. Started watching Transformers with my little brother when Armada and Energon were airing.
Oh no.
Yep. But eventually found out about Prime and haven't looked back since. You're all awesome, and the guests love being on the show just as much as the hosts.
That is true.
Yay!
That is very true.
Keep up the great work, ladies, and rev up and roll out.
Aw.
And we have a great podcast with a greater bunch of Transformers fans from Sound Drive Rights.
Oh
I think
yeah.
we've heard from them before.
Sound Drive Rights have definitely heard from before. On
Yes.
Twitter, I think. Yeah.
I, for one, thoroughly enjoy these podcasts. I may not be able to watch them live on YouTube anymore due to my job, but when I come home, I like to unwind and watching these fantastic ladies. They're a smart, knowledgeable bunch that brighten my night. Their insight and love of various universes of the Transformers world helps round out the podcast that's focused on the ongoing Robots in Disguise show. There are so many good vibes coming from them that you can't help but feel that you're there with them. I wish the ladies to have many more great nights and even more fun as the show goes on. Transform and roll out.
That is so cool.
The
That is very cool.
That's great.
I'm getting the Fyffe.
Optimus Fangirl left a review for Love and Justice also.
So great.
Optimus Fangirl, you're doing great on my list.
And see, if you leave a review, you get it read out. We love you guys. Seriously. Thank you so much for that. You're wonderful.
no,
Does
no.
Chad have anything they want
We
to
actually
say?
have a question, which
Yeah.
I think I wanted to get your, actually everybody's insight.
Okay.
We have Kiki Stubbs,
love Kiki
who also
Stubbs.
says that Fix-It is the best bot. So
Go on.
Yeah. So
Thank you. Thank you.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
Yes, go on.
everywhere, especially
Everywhere.
with Mitchell. So
Yeah.
Kiki asks, I'm really wondering, how did the minicons stick to his arms? Are they mini magnets, or which I love that? Yeah. How does the science work?
Hashtag Transformers Science.
Yeah,
you
I-
guys.
I don't
That's
know.
all I got.
I think it's Voltron magic.
Thank you.
Whatever
That's what I was
type
thinking.
of energy is used to like interlock
Yeah.
all those different
Yeah.
robot lions.
It seems
thought they were-
interlocking. They do seem interlocking
no, that's
because
what
when they go on, it looks like they go
they
on
lock
an angle
into
and lock
place.
in and
Yeah.
then unlock and deploy.
See, I was thinking like Beyblades where they like click in and then
Yeah.
just kind of go out. Yeah.
It's definitely like a pseudo Megazord situation.
I love how we just brought up like 3 different types of like some sort of robot and just like
Well, different combiner type
things.
robots.
Yeah.
Robots, how do they work?
I don't know.
Magnets.
I like the
Magnets,
magnets. It's just like, yeah, stick, go.
You know
I think they're
what?
held together by the power of friendship.
Yes.
You know what?
And love.
The writers are very true, and the animators are very true to the specific, to the specs that they give of the bots, and vice versa when it comes to making the toys. So if you look at the Drift toy that has the deployable, that's a good way of seeing how they designed that, and that's probably very close to how it really works.
That makes sense.
So buy the toy.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
In actual Crown City.
Yes.
Should be getting a commission from Hasbro. For that.
Jazzy J in the chat says the bet was for Hank to come back.
That was last.
That was last season.
Did we have one
Last
for this
season.
season?
We had another one.
We had
Jessica.
another one for this season.
And I can't remember. It's in my computer
I love
somewhere.
that you guys make bets and this stuff, and I just have to sit there and go.
Okay, so we have a little bit of news and gossip, but it's actually incomplete on my end because I forgot to look up the results. But you would know it. So do we have a news and gossip noise? Do we? I feel like we do. We never use it on this show.
We usually don't.
There we go. So Robots in Disguise was nominated for a Daytime Emmy.
Yay!
And those were yesterday. Did they win?
No one called me and told me. I don't know. I would assume I would have gotten a phone call. I heard about the nomination, but now I don't know.
I don't know.
And Google is not. Google's just like, they got nominated. I'm like, great Google. So
That's
I will
super.
find out as soon as I get home.
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll all tweet
Keep
about
an
it.
eye on Twitter, guys, for the results.
But
of
how
what-
cool is
for
it
the
to be
thing
nominated
that
for an Emmy
happened
Award?
yesterday.
That is
it's
so
super.
cool.
It's
Yeah.
super
And I
duper
know
cool.
that Rescue Bots, Jeff Bennett was nominated for
Roll to
his
the
role
rescue.
as Mayor Lusky, and he won.
Yeah.
So Rescue Bots has got that under its belt, which congratulations, you guys. The season is amazing so far.
Oh my gosh.
Talk about shows
So
that
good.
are for kids, but not for kids.
Yeah.
So good. So, yeah, if one of you guys can Google that and we can just keep on rolling. that
Now I
is our
really
bit
want to
of-
know. Now it's
Yeah.
bothering me.
Now
Thank
we
you.
want to know.
Yeah.
That is our bit of news and gossip, is that we're nominated and we're in somewhat of a suspense, so hopefully we win. In the meantime, we should roll into predictions.
Sure.
Talk a little bit about...
Light show.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV.
What was the category?
I don't know.
Well, the
Probably
gang's
best animated show.
the
right?
gang's getting back together, so that's good.
It is, and we have 2 episodes, and it is a 2-part season finale.
Which is gonna be crazy.
And I don't know how that's gonna go. That's gonna be pretty wild. I am still holding on to hope for Ratchet, you guys.
I'm not saying anything.
I
I don't
am-
know anything.
I am absolutely holding on to hope that we will get Ratchet because, gosh darn it, there's a toy.
That's
The
right.
toys haven't lied to us yet.
Well,
Fingers crossed. We don't know yet.
Here's hoping. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
some of them do, but
I was gonna say.
I don't know. What do you guys think, Emma?
I
Put you on the
mean,
spot.
I think that Ratchet has to come back. I think that there's going to be some sort of maybe horrible, terrible accident.
man, she took mine.
Because I mean, Ratchet's
Drift has broken kneecaps. That's
Well,
a good reason to get
you're
a
right.
medic
You're totally
on the
right.
show.
I was gonna say because like Ratchet's a medic, so again, because at first I thought it was like okay, like Optimus is gonna be the one who needs the medic, but now it's looking like Optimus is doing fine.
Optimus is better and the ground bridge is repaired, so it's
Yeah.
like the reasons we would have needed him.
Yeah.
Crickets.
Yeah. So.
Poor Mitchell's just sitting here like
This is the one part I cannot contribute to.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
It's
I
true.
cannot.
popcorn.gif.
Yeah. So that's what I've got.
Do we think that what we're seeing with the bug group, for lack of a better word, with our current Decepticon cadre will come to a head? Or are we going to save it for next season? Because there's still a lot of potential
I know.
there with
Well,
those villains.
I was going to say, and especially in regards to Steeljaw, with how basically Glowstrike was like, "Yeah, we totally want you to be part of our leadership team." And like,
Baloney!
Bunch
Bunch of
I was right,
baloney!
you're like, mm-mm.
No.
Like,
No.
I love
He's
that.
using
and
him.
the fact that he was like, "Oh yeah, total," like, and I can't figure out if he realizes he's being used or not. It's just
It's hard. I can't really
honestly
tell.
think he doesn't know. I think
I
there's
think he
someone who's
doesn't
so good at
either.
doing dance puppets dance. He is really, really
Dance
bad
puppet
at
dance.
realizing when that's the case.
It lost to Peter Rabbit.
oh, okay.
Seriously?
That's what it
okay.
says.
All right. I was not aware there was a Peter Rabbit animated show on the air currently.
You know, if it
bummer.
works, it works.
Apparently
Yeah.
it's quite good.
Yeah.
Congrats on the
If
nomination.
it beat us, it
Well-
better be great.
Thank you, Zach. Thank you for looking that
Still,
up.
congrats on the nomination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also,
done.
we think that you're a winner in our hearts, so I'll take that.
All of the
Yes.
yes. And I think Frank Welker received a Lifetime Achievement
He
Award.
did.
Yes, he did.
He
So,
did.
What a
I think it's
wonderful
awesome.
human being.
I love
Yeah.
it.
I knew about that because of Eric Bauza's photos that he was posting, where he brought his baby to the Daytime Emmy Awards, like you do.
Adorable.
Totally allowed.
As you do.
Adorable
I don't see why
pictures.
not.
Yep.
Of course.
Best accessory.
So, predictions.
My prediction is Steeljaw might make some progress on getting those separated.
hunters?
Thank you. Out, and that he will realize that he was being used because it's baloney that he thought that he was actually going to get through to anything, and that he's going to form his own plan to obviously get back at them in some way, shape, and form. Definitely within these 2 episodes.
Yeah, I think that I 100% think that. I think he's going to get the door open for him. They're going to turn on him, and then it's going to be like Decepticon Civil War.
Yeah.
I don't know how that will factor into attacking our heroes.
I mean, I'm
but
assuming there might be a tiny team up, just a tiny bit. But
Maybe.
but you never know. I have no idea.
maybe that would be
I-
interesting.
I can see it going down as using our new Decepticon cadre and using the Decepticon hunters to gear up and to do a full-scale assault on the scrapyard, especially since we now have weapons from Windblade's cache there.
Yeah,
So this
true.
could Nope. Pull a Lex, do it again. Nope, try that again. Escalate extremely quickly.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I'm waiting for it to crash and burn in Steeljaw's end and for Glowstrike and Saberhorn,
There you go.
whose name I'm really just D'Artagnan, to
Saberhorn.
turn on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I am
it's
expecting
inevitable.
him to be out on his rear again at the end of the season.
I agree.
Those are interesting thoughts. Interesting thoughts.
Mitchell,
All
do you
of
have
us.
any final thoughts on the episode before we wrap?
No, I just, like I said, I was very appreciative of the different feel of this episode had.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
not to say the other ones, because I think there's always something to enjoy, whether it's the banter, the back and forth,
Sure.
the humor. But I really, maybe it's because we were talking off the air about all these other shows that we like and, live action stuff. And the fact that this had that same vibe, it really made me love the show even more as a watcher of the show, not as a person involved.
Yeah.
Because it's, like I said, it's sometimes hard to separate myself, but I was really digging it. So kudos to the writers and producers for crafting something so different that had such a different feel that I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a great episode. Thank you so much for coming in. Where can the people find you?
Where can they find me?
On social medias.
Social media at @M_Whitfield, which is the Twitter, which is all I really do. Should I do other ones? Do other people do all of them?
Some people do.
Some people do all of them.
The
I should be more
Facebook, the
social media
Instagrams.
savvy. They do the Instagram.
Some people are getting more into the Snapchats to appeal to the kids.
My daughter does the
like,
Snapchat.
no.
Not for me, but I like the little pictures.
Well,
It's
thank
fun.
you.
Any upcoming projects that you can talk about?
Yeah, you know, I'm on Goldie and Bear on Disney. I'm doing a few other Disney shows, and I'm on a bunch of different stuff. But Transformers, Robots in Disguise is what we're talking about now.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
I'm on a
true.
bunch of
Or
other stuff.
it's what we were talking about on this show.
I hate promoting myself other than my new kicks. I love my new,
they look
my
really
new
good.
Adidas. Aren't they
Real
cool?
good from here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I like to put my new Adidas. There
No,
you
you should. The fans want you to say some sort of fix-it line or anything like that just because they love you so much.
It was great being your guest on the show. I had to do the triple. I'm so proprietary over those things, you know.
No, bless. That was wonderful.
Excellent.
I'm all getting
All right,
inside.
we are definitely getting played off. Emma, where can the people find you?
On Twitter at Emma Fyffe. That's my name, and that's the most social media I really do too. So just follow me there. You'll know everything
feel
I'm
better.
doing. I tweet a lot. Yeah.
You can find me all over the interwebs as atorres890.
Hey guys, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Menguin. That's TheMenguin. I also do a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz and I write articles for the movie Chick with 2Ks. Be sure to check those out.
I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram, and YouTube at KiaXet. That's KIAXET. I'm also on Snapchat at Kia Prime. I do a whole bunch of shows, most of which are back. Red vs. Blue is coming back in probably a month, which is going to be great. In the meantime, Turn, Blind Spot, Arrow, do the thing. Also, we have a shirt. Look for us on TeePublic.
Oh, yeah.
The profile is also KiaXet. And there's a shirt with us, and it's great, so take a look. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, rev up and roll out!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
They're closing on us. Yep, like the Shrike Bats of Dromedon. How'd you beat them? I'm trying to remember. There were an awful lot of casualties that day.